watching Ballerina and the John Wick spin-off movie, and I wanted to do my review because that movie, all the reviewers that said it was good, I don't know what they were watching. It's good, but it's not like what I was expecting. It was definitely not as good as like all the John Wick series, and there are some things in that movie that really annoyed me, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. So some of the action is great. Some of it just doesn't make sense whatsoever, and I'm surprised nobody called it out on it. So this is gonna be full of spoilers, guys. So if you guys are wondering about it, and you don't want to be spoiled, stop listening. So first thing is the storyline is actually quite simple. It's just a revenge because her dad got killed by this cult, and basically what happens is that um, she gets trained by the people that train John Wick. But the thing is with this cult that it also explains a little bit later is that they're all trained assassins too. Okay, so and they train at a young age just like them. And then basically, uh, she basically figures out this wants to go after the cult, and she has a training montage, all that stuff. And the best part of the whole movie was seeing John Wick in action again. I'll tell you that. Everything else was, horrible. So this movie, like I said, really annoyed me. So let's go to the areas that really annoyed me. First of all, um, every time she fights, she, goes for people's crotches and everything else, for the guys. And nothing happens to her. Like she gets thrown into a block of ice, nothing happens to her. She has a grenade blow up right next to her, nothing happens to her. She gets stabbed in the back by a throwing knife, and nothing happens to her. It's so bad. And like at least pretend, Like, you're an actress. You at least pretend. So even John Wick walks with a limp after a couple of, fight sessions. But so there's this area in the movie. So not like she fights all these people in a nightclub. Of course, there's always a nightclub scene, and basically nothing happens. Like nothing really happens. She gets thrown into a block of ice, and she gets up, no problems. The guys are waiting there with guns and not even like finishing the job. The other thing that happens is she hits the guys into the block of ice, and they all get knocked out cold. Like explain that to me. Like it's just so bad. The other thing also that happens is so she basically, like I said, she's almost like nothing happens to her, and then during middle of the movie, she basically gets knocked out by somebody going up behind her and just tapping her with the back of the gun. I was like, what? So you're telling me a grenade, a a um a getting knocked back from like all these other things that happened to her, but a knock on the head will knock her out. A grenade right next to you doesn't knock you out. Okay, yeah, okay, explain that. Okay, so the other thing also is, so this is the other, like I said, the issue that really comes up a little bit later. And if you guys don't believe me, watch it again. Watch it again. So she gets stabbed in the back by a knife during one of the fight scenes, and then she gets cut in the back, and she says in this that like she got cut, and then they look at her like they capture her, and then they look at her back and they see the tattoo. But there's no blood, and it didn't even cut her. There's nothing, and it's a perfect cut for the clothes. It's so bad. I'm like, what the heck did I just watch? Um, the yeah, and then there's this other scene. Oh, I'm just scratching my head after I just got back from watching this. So I'm scratching my head on this. And there's this area that she finds out she has a sister. she forgot all about her sister. And then she only meets her sister for like 3 minutes and she dies and then she's shedding tears. I was like, what? You don't hardly know. And nothing happens to her. Her sister dies, but nothing happens to her. Where a grenade explodes in a big house. It's like you're wondering what the heck? So it is so bad. The movie was bad. I don't know, guys. Like people that said, "Oh, it's a good movie." I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay if you turn off your brain. Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess."